Okay, I had a bad game week. You don't have to let me know about it so often in the comments. Hello, hope you're having a great Wednesday. What is up, guys, and welcome to FPL Today and the FPL Wildcard project, where we try and pick a wildcard team every game week that will maximise your points in the FPL. But before we start the video, please do all the things that support the channel, which is hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell for FPL, and let's get into the video. So we start off with looking at how my wildcard team did last game week and see how it compared to the teams that I've done previously. Now we had Martinez, Digne, Cancelo, Cresswell, De Bruyne, Salah, Jota, Grealish, Bamford, Calvert-Lewin and Vardy in the starting 11. Calvert-Lewin, of course, having that great points return of 13 points. Bamford having a game week where he could have scored a couple of goals but just continued to hit the post like the rest of his side. Grealish looking good, but unfortunately Aston Villa getting a loss. Jota being the correct pick and managing to get a goal against Leicester City, but Salah, of course, having to go to the bench because of his quarantining issues, meaning Souček came in. Man City being very disappointing against Tottenham Hotspurs. Digne managing to get some returns in the Everton game. Cresswell getting the clean sheet and Martinez being on the same side as Grealish that lost to Brighton. Overall, that meant the team got 48 points. That's, of course, without a captaincy choice in there. And that does actually mean that they did worse overall than the other sides did in this game week. In comparison to my Game Week 9 wildcard team, Game Week 6 got 49 points, as did Game Week 7. And Game Week 8 actually managed to get 54 points. So far that leaves Game Week 7 on an average of 58 points per game week, and Game Week 8 on an average of 62.5, both above Game Week 6's wildcard team, which has 55.5 points on average, all of them being higher than the 48 points that the Game Week 9 team got. So moving on to the more important thing in this video, the Game Week 10 side. Which players would I pick going into the Game Week 10 with a wildcard? Now, of course, we're going to keep a certain amount of the players that we have from the Game Week 9 side, as we usually do. And the players that have survived are Martinez in goal, purely because I think he's still one of the better options in goal alongside McCarthy. If you've got either one of them, I don't see any reason for you making a transfer. You also have Cancelo and Cresswell. Cancelo, of course, having a really good turn in fixtures coming around the corner and looking dangerous apart from that Spurs game. He could potentially get some assists on top of clean sheets, which could be beneficial for your side. And Cresswell, West Ham looks solid defensively, and Cresswell is very important on set pieces and that delivery from the left-hand side into the box for the likes of Hala, Antonio and Souček and many more that could get goals from his delivery. We're also keeping Jota in the side. It was a successful pick on the Game Week 9 wildcard, one of the few at 6.6 million. A Liverpool attacker is great value, and he's played his way into the side by the looks of things. Of course, there is the issue that he could be dropped to the bench, but right now Jota seems a very important player for them. Grealish also stays on the side. He looked dangerous in that game, even though he didn't get any points. And that's all you can really ask when a player blanks. Did it look like they were unlucky to blank? And Grealish, as well as Bamford, both looked unlucky to not score any points in Game Week 9. Calvert-Lewin has done enough to stay in this side all the way through the wildcard project, so there's no reason to get rid of him. And we're sticking with Vardy for now, purely because although he didn't return against Liverpool, the fixtures turned for Leicester as well, and he has looked very impressive indeed in game weeks prior. And we know he's meant to be a flat-track bully. The players remaining on the bench are Steer remaining on the bench, although if on a wildcard you wanted another Aston Villa player, you could of course change Steer to someone else. Souček is a great option at 4.9 million to come in off the bench. He was unlucky not to score in Game Week 9. And Kilman at 4.3 million, even though Wolves don't have the greatest fixtures, Wolves are a decent defensive side, and that is very good value for a defender in the Wolves starting 11. So who is coming into the side? And the first player we're bringing in is a player we only transferred out because he had a potential back injury, and it turns out that wasn't an issue, and he did get a clean sheet in Game Week 9, and that is of course Chilwell from Chelsea. He looks like a very attacking left back who could profit from all the great delivery in that Chelsea side from the amazing players they've managed to sign like Ziyech and Timo Werner. And also, Chelsea looked a lot more assured defensively with Mendy and Thiago Silva being added to their defence. So I think Chilwell at 6.1 million is the go-to. Of course, Robbo is still a good option from Liverpool, but there's still some concerns around Liverpool's defence compared to Chelsea, so right now Chilwell makes the side, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on Andrew Robertson. So far his stats show a defender that definitely has goal threat and assist potential, although his numbers aren't necessarily as good as some other defenders out there for creativity. He's definitely one of the best for goal threat. He offers so much goal threat, it's too hard to ignore him. With 2 goals and 2 assists from 6 shots on goal, and also an expected assist of 0.66, I just think he's the best option right now while we wait to see what's happening with the Liverpool defence. Then moving on to the 2 slots in midfield, and we are looking at Mohamed Salah coming straight back into the starting 11 purely because right now he's one of the best midfielders in the game as far as goal threat is concerned, and Liverpool have decent fixtures as well. However, you could go with Bruno Fernandes here or in place of the other midfielder I'm looking at. But Mohamed Salah, there was a fear that he would miss the Brighton game, but it looks now likely that he will feature in that, and he's definitely a captaincy option in that game, and I just wouldn't have taken him out if there wasn't the whole issue around quarantining, so he's straight back into the wildcard project.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
And you can't deny what he's done so far. In the last 6 game weeks, he's managed to get 5 goals with 17 shots on goal, 10 on target, and 13 from inside the box. Good fixtures, and like I said, always a captaincy option. I think Mohamed Salah has to be considered in any wildcard. And the 4th midfielder is Raheem Sterling. Now, I actually think Kevin De Bruyne is still the safer option. I've already said it on multiple videos. But Raheem Sterling is a more exciting option that could really bang in any game, getting a brace or more. And with Aguero and Jesus coming back, I really like the looks of Raheem Sterling going forward against weaker opposition. Of course, this is all on the hope that Man City turn their form around, which might not be the case. And again, if we're going off of form, Bruno Fernandes would come into this slot instead of Raheem Sterling. However, those fixtures for Man City are just so good. And with the likes of West Brom and Fulham in those fixtures, I think we can't really afford to ignore Man City in case they do suddenly find their form again. In the last 6 game weeks, he has only got 2 goals from 12 shots, 4 on target. That's not a good shot accuracy rate, and 9 shots inside the box with 2 big chances. Expected goals at 1.52 and expected assists at 1.13. But if Sterling hits the ground running with a 4.6% ownership, he could be a great differential for those of us looking to rise in rank. And then adding to the bench is Jamal Lewis at 4.3 million. Now, the only reason he's in here is because he is a playing defender who is also relatively cheap, and that's all that we really need right now on a wildcard. Someone that's assured of starts and is cheap enough that we can afford all the other players in our starting 11. Now, of course, Mitchell and the likes of Ferguson are options, but right now Mitchell isn't starting, and we don't know what the situation with Crystal Palace's right back will be, but in the future, Ferguson could slot into this place, and that would give you another 0.3 million to be able to spend on top of the 0.5 we still have in the bank with this team. Or at least I do with the value I've managed to build over the season so far. It is, of course, all value dependent for your squad. So if we look at how much is spent in each area, it's very similar to last game week. We've got goalkeeper and defence at 34.1 million, midfielders at 42.8 and forwards at 24.1 million, with a total value of 101.0 million, which I think is relatively affordable for most of us in the game right now after 9 game weeks. So guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this wildcard project side and how you think it will do in game week 10 and onwards. Also, let me know any transfer decisions you are making, and we can always try and help each other out in the comments down below. Also, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell for FPL. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.